I appreciate it, Ben. Again, thanks to you guys again for your time. I was remiss that I didn't announce our captains on Tuesday, so I wanted to take this time to announce our game captains. We'll choose captains on a weekly basis, as we did last year, and then at the end, have a team vote for our permanent captains. And so for week one, our game captains will be Jake Funk, Antoine Richardson, and then Jahari Branch, a native of Chicago, will be going back home to play Northwestern. And Jahari is a game captain for us, along with Jake Funk and Antoine Richardson. Also wanted to quickly talk about our players and what they elected to do around the racial injustice or racial justice stuff that's been taking place. As a program, we believe in amplifying, our student athletes' voices. This past summer, we had an opportunity to talk as a team, and we discussed many justice issues that continue to plague our society. And all of Maryland athletics has come together to take action. Our players specifically chose to express themselves visually through what they'll wear on Saturday. They'll have warm-up T-shirts. Some voluntarily have the ability to have nameplates on their jerseys with words that were chosen as an athletic department, as well as a One Terp decal on the helmet. The expressions that our players have chosen of solidarity to express themselves are equality, unity, respect, justice, empathy, I got your back, and speak up, which will all be displayed either on their T-shirts, and some have chosen to use them in place of their last names on the back of their jerseys. I'm proud of our players, and they've taken the lead on this, and that the fact that they want to be part of the solution, not just part of the problem. And now I'm happy to open it up for any questions that you guys may have.
Thanks, Coach. We'll start with Alex Flum.
Hey, Coach. How's it going?
Hey, Alex.
You guys have made some statements as a team in the first game of the season a lot of different times against non-conference opponents. This year, you're jumping right into Big Ten play against Northwestern. How important is it to make a statement in that first game, and what are you hoping to see from the team in the game?
Yeah, not as much about making a statement as it is going out and showing that we're prepared to take the next step as we build this program and continue to build the foundation in which we hope to create championship type of football or championship football that we will play. Obviously, the first game is always a great test because, you go through the rigors of training camp, which was modified for us this year. And as I always like to say, that first game is full of it's like Christmas. It's full of surprises in terms of who you really are, because sometimes you don't get to gauge it in scrimmage situations or in practice. So the fact that we start against a good Northwestern team, the fact that we start in a Big Ten play, obviously one of the toughest conferences in college football, creates a challenge for us. But again, having football taken away from us the way it has been, since March, I think our players are excited about the opportunity to go out and start this season and started with doing things the right way, the Terp way.
We'll go to Emily.
Hi. I've got a couple quick logistical things. As of now, for coronavirus testing and contact tracing, do you expect to have everyone available from that standpoint as of this point?
As we speak today, that is my expectation, yes.
Okay. And then I was just going to ask about Austin Fontaine, when he was able to start practicing and what that timeline getting back to being game ready might be.
Yeah, I think Austin returned to the team maybe a week and a half ago, maybe close to 2 weeks. He came and met with me probably a couple of weeks ago, expressed the interest in wanting to return to the team. We had our individual meeting like I've had with other guys that have decided to opt back in. He feels very comfortable with where we are with our protocol and how we've handled things from a safety standpoint. So he's been back with the team for, I think, a little over a week and a half. Obviously, being gone for so long, the conditioning piece, as well as, maintaining his strength and his weight, we're gradually increasing and bringing him back. He participated in practice this week, performing on the scout team as part of his transition back, and we're excited to have him back with us.
But do you have any idea of how soon it would be for him to?
I don't. We're
Okay.
taking it on a day-to-day basis. We've got to make sure that he gets his weight back up, his strength numbers going back up, and we'll take it on a week-to-week basis with him.
All right. And then, sorry, one more very quick one. Chig had tweeted that he was close to getting cleared. Is there any chance he is able to play this season?
As of right now, he's still in the same status that he was, when we first talked about it. I know he's taking care of some medical things, and right now, not prepared to comment on when he would be available.
Lila?
Hey, Lox, how are you?
Hey, Lila, what's up?
So you guys are facing Northwestern with a new offensive coordinator for the first time in a very long time, and I know you guys are a bit more familiar with Peyton Ramsey, but how have you guys been able to prepare where you haven't faced that OC with Northwestern, and then you also don't have non-conference games to go off of?
Yeah, a little bit of a challenge. Their new coordinator spent some time at BC and also some time with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tennessee. And so we, like all first games, we did as much research as we could on his style of offense from when he's run offenses at Tennessee under Butch Jones, who I spent time with at Alabama. I know he spent last year at Boston College and also spent some time with the Buccaneers, which Coach Hope came from. So we tried to piecemeal as much of tape from Boston College. We also feel as though that, what Northwestern has done on offense is very similar to some of the things that their new coordinator has run. So we've utilized basically scouting what Northwestern has done along with what their new coordinator, Mike Bajakin, has done at his last few stops. And then also the familiarity of the type of skill set that Ramsey offers, having played against him last year at Indiana. So definitely quite a challenge with the new coordinator. And I anticipate us having to do a great job early in the game of charting and making sure we're evaluating how they want to attack us and then get into the chess match of making the adjustments we need to make.
And just as a follow-up to that, what have you emphasized with the defense, on having Peyton Ramsey at quarterback, just from what you've seen over the past few years?
Yeah, and it's not just been our defense. I got so much respect for Northwestern as a team and how they do their business under Coach Fitzgerald and that coaching staff that they have. And as I said, the key to this game for us is not getting bored with the basics, meaning after every play, we've got to reset ourselves to neutral, and we've got to play each play as an individual play and not get caught up in the playing the game kind of without deliberate intention. That tends to happen sometimes. Northwestern is one of those teams that, they're not going to beat themselves, and they really count on you maybe getting bored, as I say, getting bored with doing the basic things within the scheme of our defense, offense, and special teams. And they're very diligent in how they attack you. And so what we've got to do is focus on being really disciplined in our execution of our assignment. It's going to be more about us than it will be about Northwestern, as most first games are and as most of our games will be. It comes down to our execution of our stuff on offense, defense, and special teams. And teams like Northwestern that have won and been successful usually count on teams beating themselves, and that's where we've got to take that part out of the equation and make them beat us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll go to Jacob Steinberg next.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Hey, Jacob.
So you talked about earlier in the previous press conferences how you've now done 3 scrimmages. So I was just wondering, from when you guys first put on the pads to leaving for Northwestern tomorrow, where do you feel the team has improved most, in what areas?
Yeah, I think I've hit this a few times. I think the big thing that jumps out to me from the scrimmages is just the increase of team speed, with some of the new pieces that we've added to our team and some of the new guys. It seems to me that we do a really good job with our team speed and running to the football. The other area that I thought we've really improved on is, our defensive front, our front 7. We've got, as I've said before, 6 linebackers that are all capable of being starters. And then the addition of, Mo and Ami on the interior of our D-line, as well as TT, and been really happy with the play of Lautez Rogers, as well as Joe Bola Tapelli coming in as a transfer. So just kind of some of the size and strength on the defensive front seven has been really impressive. And then obviously on the offensive side, I think it's, the return of Ja'Shawn Jones and the receiving core that I think offers us some big playability. And then I think the confidence of Joe Petrino, our kicker. He's playing with a lot of confidence, hopefully back to the form he showed as a true freshman a couple of years ago. And I've been really pleased with how he's performed during training camp.
Thank you.
Yep.
We'll go to Ed Lee next.
Mike, what's the key to sort of fortifying the pass rush, which at times last year was lacking?
Yeah, I think the big one is through recruiting. Adding guys like Joe Bola-Tapelli and then Frankie Burgess, one of the true freshmen that has worked himself, and then getting Ahmad McCullough back from injury. And as I said, Lattez Rogers is playing at a really high level. A lot of pass rush starts with being able to rush the passer with the front four. Last year, we had to rely on bringing pressure, and we put our secondary in some tough situations because we wanted to try to bring pressure and get the quarterback off his spot. Well, we're hoping that with the addition of some of the people that we've added, some of the pieces we've added to the pass rush, some guys that have natural pass rushing ability, that'll help us. But I also feel like, Coach Hoke has done a really good job this offseason of putting together a scheme that I think will benefit us in terms of trying to disrupt the quarterback's rhythm, create some different looks on the back end, and then, the speed that we've added to the secondary at the corner position, in addition to not just Deontay Banks and Gator, but bringing in Tarheeb Steele and Jacorian Bennett, as well as a healthy Kenny Bennett, gives us a chance to where we can maybe add more guys to the rush in addition to the front four rush and still stay in front of people on the back end.
With regards to special teams, Javon Leake is gone, DJ Turner is gone. I believe Isaiah Jacob is the presumed starter for kick returns. You have Ja'Shawn Jones at punt return. Youth is obviously good, but do you have any concerns about leaving in the hands of two young guys?
Yeah, I don't consider Ja'Shawn a young guy. He's a third-year player, though he missed last season. He's a guy that played as a true freshman and did some really good things, has shown ability in the return game, very confident in him as a punt returner, along with guys like Tarheeb Steele and even Rakim Jarrett, who's been back there returning punts, along with DeJuan Ellis. And then with the kickoff returns, those are a little easier to catch. And the type of runner that Isaiah Jacobs has proven to be through practice, we're excited about him. He becomes a weapon for us because of his open field ability. We've got Ja'Shawn back there as a returner, as well as Rakim Jarrett. And then, having a reliable Jake Funk back there as well helps kind of solidify the return game. So no hesitancy or no lack of confidence in the guys we put back there. They've had ample amount of reps of doing it. Obviously, first games are always kind of a little jittery there, but I think the confidence that I've seen and how they've approached it during practice, that I anticipate them to be able to execute it the way we want it done in the game.
Last question. Any chance you can announce the starting quarterback today?
Yeah, as I said, it's Lance Tungavailoa.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
We'll go to Alif Kareem.
Hey, Coach. Hope you're doing well.
Thank you. Hope you will.
Thank you, Coach. My question is around the topic of youth, because you have such a young team and you kind of talked about some of the players on defense as well. What sort of is the margin for error that you're allowing for the youth on your team to have, and how are you sort of going to judge them in terms of improvement, because there's already the added pressure of a shorter season?
Yeah, very little margin for error because, as I've said, once we kick the ball off, nobody cares about the 56 new players that have never worn Terp uniform. And for me, it's all about the development of this team on a day-to-day basis. And like I said, nobody's going to really care that we're playing freshmen. They're going to evaluate us by our production, how we play the game, how we perform. And so that's up to me and our staff to get the young guys prepared to play. And that's what we've tried to do, over the course of the last month and a half. Obviously, like you said, playing a Big Ten schedule right off the bat, not ideal, but it is what it is. And just like everybody else in this league, we all have to face the burden of going right into league play. I've got a lot of confidence. With youth comes enthusiasm, and I'm hoping that this youthful team plays with the right kind of effort and the right kind of habits and behaviors that I always talk about, where this youth serves us well, to where they go out and they compete and they're obsessed with the process of competing and not the final scoreboard. As we try to preach all the time, let's be obsessed with the process and let's worry about the finish once it hits there. So we're going to take that approach with these young guys. We're going to let them go out, play, have fun. Some of the veteran guys that have opportunities to create value for themselves with the start of the season, I'm hoping we get great leadership from them, and then we'll see how it plays itself out.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
All right, for our last one tonight, we'll go to Andy Koska.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Andy, what's up, man?
How's the transition been for Tyler Baylor from defensive line to tight end, and what does he bring to that position?
Yeah, I've been really pleased with Tyler's transition from playing defense to offense. He's one of those big body guys that I know in high school. He was a basketball player and did some really good things at good counsel, showed some athleticism, and, losing a player of Chig's caliber and then just being really young at the position with the graduation of Noah Barnes and some of the other guys that have been around here. I've been pleased with what Tyler has to offer. He's shown, with the strength that he has and his ability in the run game, and also proven and shown himself to be a viable threat in the passing game. But also, along with that, the complement of having Malik Jackson, who's been healthy, been really pleased with his progression and his progress in our system. Bring some things to the table in the passing game, as well as the size you want at the tight end position, which is critical in what we like to do on offense. So happy with Tyler's transition. It's been as smooth as possible. Looking forward to see how he competes and how productive he is when we get into game situations.